Welcome to Forever Exiled. I'm Justin, aka Tags.
And I'm Tyler, Wrecker of Days.
It's episode 195.
Yeah, nailed it. First
Every
try.
time. It is episode 195. Big shout out to all of our Patreon supporters of the podcast. We love your faces. Thanks, Garrett, for joining the crew this week. Hopefully enjoy some After Dark. And everybody else who supports the podcast, we appreciate your faces. Patreon gets you access to After Dark. It's a podcast after the podcast. It's just more chatter, talking, whatnot, so forth, and etc.
Lots of etc.
Sold it.
Just nailed it. That elevator pitch.
That was it.
Listen, sir, ma'am.
Just calm down. We can
Lots of etc.
We can only write so many cards, so just come in slowly.
Relax.
Yeah. But thanks, everybody.
Vowels, thank you very much for leaving all those voicemails for us about lawns.
Yep. We listened to them.
Very nice. Yeah. No,
were they
great.
left
Thank
individually or did the system cut them up?
Four individual ones, I think.
Okay. I was kind of trying to figure out if the system purposefully stopped it at 45 seconds or because they all seem to be exactly the same.
But anyway, Vowels, thank you for the time. It was fun to listen to them all. And just,
yeah, buddy.
You know what day it is today? Today is June 30th.
Yep.
Tomorrow's July 1st, and then this comes out July 2nd. So I was
happy
right.
Canada Day, everyone.
We happy Canada Day to everyone last weekend at the proper time. Because now when they hear you say it,
but I'm going to say it again.
It's a day late, and people are like, "Oh man,
happy Canada Day!"
Sure wish I knew ahead of time.
Rest of the world,
you are welcome. Forcing our day on you. Anyway, how was your week, Just?
Tell me about your week first, because I'm going to finish taking my breakfast of champions.
You know what his breakfast of champions is, people? A pill.
Oh, there's a few of them. Go on. How was your week, my friend?
They're probably all spacey and stuff. You know, it's like it expands in his mouth and it fills him up like he just had a steak type of thing. That's probably what it is. Anyway, I had a good week. Kids finished up school this week, and in our school, it's funny because it's probably like this everywhere, but we feel like our kids get a pro D day at least once a week, even though that's not the case. It kind of feels like it. And so anyway, last week of school, they don't even go to school on Friday. It's the teacher day to wrap up. And then the official last day of school, which is the Thursday, the whole school goes on a beach trip. So the last day, even though they had to go to school on Thursday, because, you know, we had to pay for the field trip, their last day of stuff was Wednesday and Tuesday, but Tuesday and Wednesday
were questionable.
Well, they're coming home with so much stuff.
Yeah.
But I do like this part of school. Obviously, I love having the kids home for summer. I also love seeing them go to school and the stuff they come home with and like learn and all that. But I enjoy seeing what they did throughout the year. And I think the part, though, that I like the most as a parent is seeing what work your kids did that they're very proud of. You know what I mean? Because some stuff you would totally skim over, be like, wow, that's great. And they're like,
but
this
did
is
you
the
see
best
this
picture ever, right? Yeah. Did you notice I added this little line because that's an important detail? And or something that they wrote or math, whatever it is. So we end up going through and we'll keep a couple pieces of writing, a couple drawings, whatever it is. And we'll just put those in a container. And so, Oliver and Violet finished grade 2 and grade 4. And so that's a lot of fun. I took, so I was going through and my kids, they have these planners, you know, like kids go to the same school. So the kids have the planners that the parents have to sign and look at the notes that the kids have for things that we need for the next day, that kind of thing. And so it's a nice parent-teacher communication tool. So I looked at Oliver's, and they haven't filled anything out for the last week because there's been nothing to remind us about except for the field trip. And he was starting to write swear words with the little asterisks in there.
Nice.
And when he realized, like, I don't know what he was thinking, but obviously I'm going to look at the planner. And when he realized that I was going to see them, his face kind of fell like he was in huge crap. But then I started laughing out loud, and now it's like his favorite thing in the world. So now he's written swear words with asterisks instead of the vowels everywhere.
That's awesome.
Because it's like he's allowed to. Now he's not. Like, I'm going to tell him he can't do that, or I have told him he can't do that. Sorry, but it's still funny. Like, he's not going to get in trouble for it. But the more you do that, the more it gets into your head. And so obviously I don't want him to do it. But it was funny because I had another joke to myself about the English language again. You know how I'm always complaining about our language and spelling and pronunciations and stuff. So anyway, he spelled fuck fine. with the asterisks. Ass was fine.
Are we talking about like
shit was
certain
fine.
amount of, he had the right amount of characters?
Well, yeah, like
Okay, yeah.
he's only doing a star over the vowels.
Okay.
So there's almost all consonants.
Okay,
all
that's actually
consonants.
pretty funny.
Yeah, but then bitch was B star. He doesn't know how to do an asterisk, so they're actually stars. B star CH. And I'm like, you know what?
That's fair.
Screw that T.
Yeah.
You betcha. Why on earth would you need a CH for some ch and a TCH for other ch?
So you really pronounce it. Oh, there's Tyler's warning. Bitch.
Right.
Yeah. Got that D&D on, bud, my friend?
Yeah. So anyway, it was really fun though, but it's nice to have the kids home now, and we started letting them play Elden Ring.
Oh, cool. I heard you talking about it with them before you came down. It actually was pretty funny because I heard Oliver say something about he's got something to a +4. It just made me laugh.
Yeah, he's got his cross Naginata. It's like a spear that acts like a hybrid but has bleed. Anyway, yeah, so it's obviously not an appropriate game for kids, but with the blood turned off and we told them they're not allowed to watch any of the cutscenes, it's actually really cool. There's only a couple places, there's a couple dungeons that there's like corpses piled around and stuff like that. Yeah, some of them are pretty gross.
Okay.
So but they know to skip them, and my kids are good with that. Like if we tell them to do it, they'll do it. Yeah. Not my kids. My kids could never do anything bad. But anyway, but then there's some dungeons where there's like where they were watching Aaron or I play through, where it's like, no, can't do this dungeon while the kids are around because just of what the environment is, what the walls are built of and stuff. But the kids have such awesome memories that they know exactly where that is, and they just won't do it.
Nice.
Yeah. So Oliver started playing. He knows the game better than I do. He knows exactly where to get this certain scroll to hand into this certain person so that he can get a certain spell, and like
that's awesome.
Doing like the multi-flask thing where he's going health and then filling up his FP and using his wondrous physique, and he's scrolling through it all, and he beat Margit faster than I did.
That's a tough fight
at a lower level.
Dang.
He crushed it.
That's awesome.
It was hilarious. Like I was like in awe but laughing. Like he kicked the crap out of this guy way better than I did. And he didn't even have his weapons leveled yet. He's like, no, I'll do it later. He knows, I guess. Awesome. He knows. Yeah, it's hilarious.
Just
and then my
dodge,
daughter.
Dad. God.
Yeah. And my daughter, she loves the lore. We've been going through the Vati Vidya lore videos.
Yep.
About Makella and, all this, the Millennium, all that kind of stuff. We've seen them all now. And the kids just like, they love the lore. They know it down to a T. Like when they're walking home from school, they're talking about how, Godfrey used to be married to Marika, but then Radagon came in, but they're kind of the same, but they're kind of not. And then they feel bad for this person because Radagon left her, but then they're going, and then they can tell me which of the bosses are whose kids from which marriage. And I'm like, I can't even tell the difference between their names. They're so good with it. So anyway, it's been a fun week because they haven't had as much schoolwork to do. The homework's been gone. And so, because I finally passed Elden Ring this week, it's just been
nice.
It's just been like, that's all they're talking about. So it's very much been an Elden Ring family week.
Sweet.
Yeah. So anyway, no, I had a good weekend. It's nice to start summer and, do chores with the kids around, which means nowhere near as many chores get done. It's gonna be a good 2 months.
Them do it.
Yeah, well, they're at that age now where it's nice. Like Oliver was mowing the lawn; he actually enjoys it. Violet hates mowing the lawn, so in essence, she prefers doing the weeding. So she doesn't like weeding, but I want to do the weeds. She'll always call that first, and so no, it'll be good. They're at an age where it can actually start applying, so I got to make sure I'm actually doing it as opposed to just trying to be efficient. I need to be more efficient parent than I am a chores person. So we'll see.
Taskmaster Tyler.
I could buy a whip.
Yeah, or just a shirt. Get you in less trouble.
Both.
That's awesome. That's good.
Well, listen, like if I went to jail, but I'm like gluten-free and dairy-free,
you would just die
and I have
there.
to be extremely careful about my diet. I wonder though, would I get special meals?
No, just eat.
I would.
I don't think so.
No. Yeah, you can. Are you kidding?
I love it. You're like, yes, I will.
I would. Yeah, that's right. I know.
I paid to be
they
here.
Have to.
Are you kidding me?
It's jail in Canada.
Yeah, that's true. They wouldn't want to hurt you.
Anyway, how about you? Your week?
My week was good. I had a good week, and there's actually
And
quite
a good
few
breakfast.
things.
Apparently, finished it already.
Breakfast every single day. Just give me my 25 pills. So I went to a Soyuz on the weekend.
Right. Tell us about that.
It was really, really
all
good.
The details for your couple weekend.
Yeah, it was really fun. First time I've ever done like wine tasting and stuff. So it was a good time. It was destroyed. It was wrecked by Saturday evening though, because on Saturday my phone was in my pocket. I forgot about it. Walked into the pool, walked to the end of the pool, realized something was in my pocket, pulled it out and was like, crap. Christina put it on the, like wrapped it up in a towel and we just left it. And so then once we got out of the pool later on, I'm like, man, I really hope it's fine. Turned it on and it was working. Everything was working fine. And I was like, whew, thank goodness. And then when we went out for dinner that night, I made the mistake of
going in the
not
pool again,
thinking, and I plugged it into my car for GPS. And I think at that point, once I gave power to it, something happened and the screen just fried. There was no touch at all. The buttons on the side would work, but I couldn't touch. Nothing would work. I took the whole thing apart, tried to do whatever. I couldn't fix it. So yeah, I ordered a new phone. Thankfully it didn't take very long to come, which was a big stressor for me. I heard that. And,
no, you didn't.
Oh yes,
no,
I did.
My computer is totally silent. Is it somebody doing a check? Let's see. Is it a D&D check?
It's gotta be.
Oh, it was Theta, but it wasn't an official D&D check, so it doesn't count Theta.
But you still got him. So yeah, Soyuz was fun. And then I had like a lot of stuff. I have like almost nothing work related. Work was fine. Work was good actually this week. But
okay, hang on.
Yeah.
That's the first time in like 9 months.
Right? I know. Work was fine this week. There is still bullshit that I'm dealing with, but it was fine. But
that's
it is what it is.
Now
exactly.
Stuff, right?
So my
Normal
oldest is moving to the island. I told you that, which is cool. So we got to see a video. He sent a video of his of their new apartment. Super nice, really nice area. They're actually moving into the same city Josh is moving to, which is cool. That is cool. Their apartment's great. It's in a really nice area. So he sent a video of that. My second oldest graduated from middle school. So where we live, there's elementary school. Oh, I'm going to get into it. Just wait. Where we live, there is, I don't know if it's like, I think it's like this in a lot of places, but we have elementary school that goes up to grade 5. We have middle school that runs grade 6 through 8. And then we have high school that runs grade 9 through 12. It is what it is. It's just because of how many people we have and they need to fill spaces and blah, blah, blah. So we have been through a middle school graduation before, and it was nothing like this. When my oldest graduated middle school, it was like we went to the school, you go in the gym, they announce their name, they get a little certificate, and then I want to say that was kind of it. And that is fair. You know, it's grade 8. It's not like it's grade 8. I get grade 12. That is a fine one to like make a big deal about. You're finally done.
You don't have to go on after grade 12. That's a graduation.
That's right. That's all you've done now. All of the stuff, whatever they call it, but like all your secondary school is done now. This was the dumbest thing I've had to sit through in a long time. His school, like their school has like a lot of kids. Like a lot of kids. And so first off, they announce all their names and they come up and get their certificate. I was like, oh, all right, like let's go. Let's get this going.
Really? They went through every single kid?
Every single kid comes up and gets
for
their
a
certificate.
Departure ceremony?
Yeah.
But they call it a graduation ceremony?
Graduation, yeah. Which is fine. Again, if that was it, fine. That took maybe 35 minutes to get through that. So it wasn't the end of the world. But the whole process was over 2 hours long, because they had to give out certificates and awards. And some of these awards were just like, I think I told you guys, they gave an honesty award. And the lady's like, because this kid always tells the truth. And I'm like, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. First off, no, he doesn't. That is absolute nonsense. Of course he lies. That's ridiculous. But also, yay? Like, what? I don't understand. Why is this? Why are we in now? It took so I could not believe. I was leaning over to Christine like, I have a meeting. I did not think this was 2 hours. I'm happy to come see my kid do his thing, but in the end, you kind of watch like the same 20, 25 kids just constantly come up. And then they gave these sports awards out, and the teacher talked for, I want to say he talked for 25 minutes just about these 4 individuals that he was giving awards to, like a whole backstory and everything. And I was like, I could not care less. Even if it was my own kid, I don't want to hear it. Like, just give them the thing and let them bring it home after school. It's grade 8, man. I was so frustrated. So
it's funny because for us, grade 8 was totally different. Middle school didn't exist where we lived then. But right, elementary school went to grade 7, and then high school was grade 8 to 12. So for us, grade 8 was, and I don't remember anything special for grade 7.
No, it was like
nothing.
You like did a camp out, or like it didn't involve our parents. I can tell you that much.
There was though I don't even remember anything in the gymnasium.
No.
But then you go to high school and you're like, grade 8 is really small compared to grade 12 at that stage, and you're just like pissing your pants.
Yeah, so that was silly. And then on the same day, though, we did go and watch, our daughters had their dance recital, which is, I mean, that's another thing that's like, it was like 2.5 hours long, and our kids danced for like 12 minutes of that, like, because they each had their own dance.
Yeah.
But man, watching them dance is, I'm such a pussy when it comes to my girls. Like, I don't know. I get,
were you a weeping sack of emotions?
No, I'm not like crying or anything, but I just love watching them do their dances, and I've seen them do their dances as they've gotten older. And so watching them getting better at them. And it's just, I really actually quite enjoy that part of watching them.
Sure.
But yeah, and then we had
your son falls off his bike and you're like, shut up and get up. Your daughter falls off his bike. Oh, my widow boo boo bear.
Man, my girls picked up, like, my youngest just started, now she's riding 2 wheels with like no training wheels. Our youngest, she's finally just switched over. My girls picked up riding bike way better than my boys.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just a balance thing or what, but yeah, it was good. And then we had a big party thing last night, which was fun with our work. So we took I was
wondering what I figured you were at something, because
when I sent you the picture,
there was a picture, which you were gorgeous in, by the way.
Obviously.
And your video.
Oh yeah, that was the end of the night, and I had some drinks. I probably will not be drinking for After Dark tonight because it's still working its way through me. But
though, I have heard that before.
Yeah, you never know what happens, eh? You never know. It depends on how the day goes. Now
doesn't come to fruition.
With kids at home, it's like, they might drive me to it quicker. But yeah, overall, it was actually, it was a good week. It was fun. The kids are done. The summer's going to be really busy for them for sure. So that's good. And yeah, that's it.
Cool.
Let's talk some PoE. Or
glad
PoE.
You had a good week, man. It's been a long time coming.
Thanks, buddy.
Well, PoE, absolutely nothing happened. And I'm starting to like, I was doing the cup half full thing the last few weeks as GGG starts putting out these fluff posts, like, oh, they're putting out a lore post. Okay, it's a lore roundup. Oh, it's okay, it's a div card roundup. And I'm like, okay, now it's just getting to the point where it's like, right. And I mean, they still have a month to go until ExileCon. So I'm like, all right, this isn't for a specific purpose. They're not planning. I mean, I still don't know. Maybe they are, but yeah, to me, this week was the final straw for my cup half full bit. Not like a negative thing, like I'm going to criticize them for it. What else are you supposed to do? It's just nice that they're actually putting something together, but I don't see it being anything more than just filler.
Yeah.
But anyway, they had a div card roundup thing, talent and fan art competition winners of the past, and a compilation of the top 3 of the podium finishers there.
All the way back to 2018.
Bam. Let's see. And then, so then they had the music and audio roundup, which is cool because that's one part of the game. We were joking with Camille when he was on the show that it's like the only part of the game that can't get criticized. You know what I mean? I mean, definitely not true, because like if he sucks at making music, everybody can tell.
Yep.
But when you're just a good composer and you make a good song, then it's in. But then other people implement it into the game. So even if the music has a glitch, it has nothing to do with him. You know what I mean? So we were joking with him that that's like the safest job in critics land. You know what I mean? So anyway, that was kind of neat. But then there was one div card that I wanted to shout out, and they're all really cool. This one's called The Fool by JMatt.
Okay.
And the quote that GGG said for this one was, "Let me start off by saying that it's nice to see that a lot of divination cards created by the community represent something that's very meaningful and emotional to the creator of those cards. This, however, is definitely not one of those.
That is funny.
And it's called the Fool, and it gives you 20 chance orbs. Orbs of chance?
Orb of chance.
I think they're orbs of chance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I liked that one. I enjoyed that. Somebody went through and they just wanted to give GGG the money, be supportive, get their div card. Well, that was it. Oh, and then there was also the developer presentation. So then they really pumped out some of the bigger videos, of course,
stuff,
but the
right?
links for ExileCon from 2019. So ExileCon one. But they did have a small post that was actually about upcoming events, and that was for Gamescom. And they said Gamescom, they gave the dates. It's August 23rd to 27th in Germany, and they'll be attending. They said where they'll be in which hall, and that people are welcome to stop by and meet the team and try out Path of Exile 2, especially if they're not able to make it to ExileCon. So another one of those things where, for those that are still hanging on to that thread of ExileCon coming out right after, or Path of Exile 2 coming out right after ExileCon, comment like that, if you can't play ExileCon this is a tough one. If you can't play Path of Exile 2 at ExileCon, you're not going to get another chance until Gamescom.
We'll see.
So unless you're Justin, it kind of solidifies
I don't buy
that.
anything they say anymore.
But that would be really cool if... Why don't you believe? What have they said that hasn't come true?
What have they said that hasn't come true?
Yeah.
It's not about what they've said that hasn't come true. It's just I don't understand the reason for why they've said some of the stuff they've said. So until I see what happens at ExileCon 2 and after ExileCon 2, I'm reserving judgment.
I guess it's always a good thing. So anyway, it'd be cool. Obviously those that are close to, I don't even know how to say the city's name, but Cologne, Germany. It'd be cool to just show up to the event and specifically go just to say hi to whoever's at the booth there and check things out. And yeah, that'd be cool. It'd be awesome if they one day came to the Pacific Coast over here sometime. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any events or anything though for that kind of stuff over here.
E3 used to be in LA, right?
I don't even know. I'm not sure.
But then that got canceled. Anyway, so yep, that was that. But
cool.
Kind of got me thinking though, so now they have these fluffer filler posts that are coming out, right? I've given into thinking that that's that. And then this is their presentation. That's basically their only news or teaser. There wasn't another teaser for a different kind of gameplay, 1 minute gameplay trailer like they did the last 2 weeks. So I was kind of not expecting it, but hoping for it. I was hoping that would be a pattern and you'd get to keep that hype, once a week hype. There was nothing this week. That was the only thing. And so it started getting me thinking, did they really have nothing planned for now, for the next month?
For a whole month. They have to.
Because they also haven't had a patch in a month. Now,
which
typically yes and no, because to me, it makes sense when you have another league coming out, right? Their new system since Heist was you work really hard on the current expansion for the first month and a half, and then it's balls to the wall for the upcoming expansion for the next month and a half, because then it's released. But now you don't have that. Now, yes, they have ExileCon coming out and they have Path of Exile 2, but that's all still relative stuff that you plan for forever and ever away, right? But for there to be nothing, even for players or content or even patches, there's still tons of bugs in the game. You know what I mean? So granted, some of those minor bugs are going to be irrelevant, because if you're changing everything with Path of Exile 2, you're not going to be hunting and fishing for those things. So I get that, but it's just, I don't know. It's with patches not being out for over a month now, not one patch, but then they've said nothing about, it's just dead or still water from a fan's perspective for the next month. That kind of surprised me.
No patch out is fine. I do think having no content though is curious, concerning. Yeah.
Because even normally when they do events, they let you know ahead of time. There's quite a ways ahead. Hey, just want to let you know we're going to be doing these 3 events consecutively. Here are the dates in case you only preferred one of them.
They should be doing
let people know ahead of time that they're going to be voided events. Yeah.
You want to get people back into your game and talking about it, and maybe they still do.
I don't know, but The fact that there wasn't a teaser this week, like another 1-minute gameplay teaser like they had, but there's also nothing planned. It just seems maybe it was an oversight. Maybe they have something planned for next week or things are starting, but it's weird that there's nothing that the fans know about. Unless it was going to be teasers. I guess that's my point. Teasers you don't need an advance on, but events you do, because if you want people to participate in your events, that's nice that they know ahead of time and can plan around that. So if you're not going to be doing events, which it seems like they're not, my hope was teasers to keep people in once a week. Let's go. 4 more
I think
weeks.
they have to be doing events. I can't imagine they go 4 weeks without any events to lead up to ExileCon 2. That would be...
It would be crazy.
Really crazy.
To just abandon PoE. Now, they're probably not abandoning, but
it would
we know
feel
nothing.
Like it. Yeah.
It feels like it now.
Yep. And we already know that it's still played, but their numbers would obviously have gone down. We've already now exceeded the normal length of a normal league. So yeah, I would hope that they've got something planned for the lead up. Yeah, it's 28 days from now until ExileCon. That's a lot of time to do nothing.
Does their website, PoE2, still not actually tell you the dates of ExileCon?
I don't know. I'm on their main website and it's got just the ExileCon live stream timer.
Yeah. I go to Pathofexile 2 and it doesn't actually have a date.
Yeah,
it only has the countdown.
It's very weird.
It's so weird.
I'm not doing math on a calendar. Get out of here.
Well, date math.
Way too dumb for that.
Date math and lap math are always weird because you always have to count the day you're on. But then you have to add so now it's saying 28 days and 5 hours away. Mm-hmm. So you're like, okay, wait, 28 days including now or excluding now? Like, I don't know. It's just normal math's fine, but date and lap math, it's like so you're counting today, but then are you also counting the day of, like the last lap shoot? So it's +1, but then it's the 5 hours. It's like, shoot, are they ahead or behind? And then you try and convert it into your own time. And it's just, I don't know. I get all screwy. So it's kind of funny. And now I'm looking and I see the 2 PathofExile 2 teasers and I'm like, there's supposed to be a third one.
Is there?
Well, but there wasn't one. I'm just saying.
Oh, I see what you mean.
I demand a teaser a week.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they fill this next, it's 4 weeks with.
Do you think they obviously know their numbers, what dollar value is worth a certain amount of commitment at work, right? At GGG. I'm the kind of person, I think, if I was to be in that position where you always have something going for your fans. I don't think there would be a way where, like, even if it would be a small money hole, you assign a few people to get these events going or to keep these things going. I think it's important to do that. I hope they do.
Yep. I'll be very surprised if they don't. If they literally just have dead space until ExileCon. I think that would be a poor lead up to ExileCon.
Can you see a benefit to it, even from their perspective?
Mm-mm. Besides man hours into ExileCon, but if Path of Exile 2, if we take them at their word and Path of Exile 2 is as far away as it's sounding, which to me is far. I mean, you're talking about the Gamescom thing isn't until the end of August. The way that they're talking is as if, don't get your hopes up. The beta is still a long way out, which is absolute nonsense if that's true. Then I don't know what... I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I could see an all hands on deck craziness. It's super busy because Path of Exile 2 is launching after ExileCon. I could get it. I could understand it. But the way they're talking is very, very, very much so that that's not the case. And that the beta is not even going to be ready after ExileCon. That we'll just know a date. Like I'm still, Chris's stupid comment still throws me completely off because I don't get it. I still struggle with the idea of why he wants people to leave. And someone on Discord that is going to ExileCon shared part of the email they got and they doubled down on it. Like they were like,
oh, so that was part of an email that they got. Okay.
Yeah. For letting them know about, information about ExileCon, but they went back onto it again and said, we do your sightseeing beforehand. You should head home right after. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, Greg posted that on our Discord and he highlighted, we'd recommend you flying out Monday, July 31st. And then he said they tripled down on it later on and said, of course, this event is a great opportunity to spend even longer in New Zealand, though, because we're launching 322 a few weeks after the convention. It may be better to plan your exploration of New Zealand to be before ExileCon rather than after.
Which,
so double
if that's
down and a triple
truly
down.
About 322, they are out of their minds to think that that should be more important than visiting another country. I just think that's insane. So
they're kind of at a point now where if it's ExileCon, if the announcement, the reason people are rushing home from ExileCon is Path of Exile 2, people are going to be like, yeah, I mean, obviously that's the only thing that you could release that would excite me to come home early. And if it's their announcement is, oh, the beta's coming out for Christmas time and you're going to be really excited about the next league, people are going to be like, you know what I mean? Like, I think they're in like a lose-lose situation.
Well,
because the best you can get is like the expected hype.
Yes.
And that's the best case scenario.
In their situation, like with regards to the email that they sent to Greg and the other people that are going, I think they should have, if it is indeed 322, then they shouldn't. I still feel like they're kind of floating around this, like, well, we're really suggesting. I would rather see them just definitively say the only thing that's coming out after ExileCon 2 is Path of Exile 322. We think 322 is great, and that's the suggestion for why you should leave early. I don't feel like they're direct enough to say to somebody, this is exactly why we think you should travel home, and it is just because of 322. So that at least the normal person, because I think the idea that you can't play a league if you don't play it on league launch is silly. We both talked about that. And I get that there's a lot of people who do, but I just think it's insane to me that that would be the reason to leave another country. I just find that crazy. So we'll see.
Yeah. Now, of course, we talked, that was the majority of our episode last week, so I don't want to dwell on that too much longer, but Suzu came up with a cool idea on our Discord. And now this isn't a reason to rush home because it would be something you would have to order online and then just start participating in, unless, of course, it was a video game version of it. But Suzu brought up a really cool idea that I would probably jump on board with financially if it was affordable and not a money hole. But Suzu said maybe they're going to introduce the PoE card game, because you know how Chris is really into Magic the Gathering. And I was like, that'd be cool. I'd get into that as a super nerd, even if I'm not huge into those kind of games. I think it'd be a fun way to collect and support. And so, but that's a cool idea. Hey, like kind of going against the expected flow of things, against PoE Mobile, against PoE 2, Beta, the next league.
Well, they did a card game at ExileCon 2, or ExileCon 1. Sorry, ExileCon as well.
Yeah, not like a Magic the Gathering thing, though, but a small little card collect.
It's the same style idea.
Yeah. So, but that would be really cool if they introduced some sort of card game just for fans. You could order the cards, start collecting, that kind of thing. That would be wicked.
Cool idea. Not a leave New Zealand idea, but yeah, cool idea for sure.
Right. That's the thing, because it's, unless they had it as a digital game instead, like a digital battle game. But that'd be kind of a neat way to monetize and advertise your product as well, right? If all of a sudden people start playing it, it turns out to be a really good card game, then you're shipping that all over the place. People are getting it. And then all of a sudden, I didn't know this wicked huge card game that everybody plays was also a video game. Oh, that's cool. I don't know. I like that. This is a good idea. So then I started thinking about shut up. So then I started thinking about like what other things it could be. And Suzu's idea was just too perfect for me to actually have my mind wander on anything else. So good idea, Suzu.
For after ExileCon 2, you mean?
Yeah, for a reason to come home.
My head is only on Path of Exile 2 because I can't. There is not another thing that would validate leaving a country early for me.
And it sucks because I don't want to be that person, but I'm
very confident it's not going to be Path of Exile 2. I think Bex is being quite legit in her tweets and her messaging. I'm taking her at her word, but then it just confuses me more. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
It's funny because whether it's on Reddit, on our Discord, other mediums like Twitter, where people are talking about this, I haven't seen one legit hint or idea from someone else. Like they're all good ideas, but not one thing has stood out to me that's like, oh, you know what? That would be something I would rush home for.
Why do they even have to tell you to rush home? Why couldn't they have just said 322 is going to release? Well, but let's say that we're taking them at their word and it is 322. Why not just say our plan is to release 322 the day after ExileCon, and then leave it up to the person to figure that out.
It's not. It's 3 weeks after. There's a 3-week gap.
Yeah, that's
Justin.
right. You're right.
There's
that's
a 3-week gap. So we're all like, what? What on earth could it be? Like, fans have no clue.
That's true, because she said it was going to be a couple weeks after.
So, and again, we did this all last week.
I'm still going to bring it up. It's so stupid.
Every week. I know it's going to be every week. Well, it's not stupid. It's just mind-blowing.
It doesn't make sense.
Well, of course, that's it. I don't think it's stupid because they know what it is. We don't, but we're not used to this. What as a fan, that's not a League launch, or that's not the sequel that was never supposed to be a sequel launch. What else could it be? They obviously know. They think it's going to be fantastic and amazing. It's not a League launch. It's not PoE 2 or the beta.
It's nothing. There's no way it's something. I can't think of it.
Right. But what could it be that isn't for somebody? I mean, okay, so I've always been thinking, this just came into my mind. I've always been thinking that the reason people are going home is because of something that's going to be available the day later for fans. Mm-hmm. But that might not necessarily be the case. It could be something that people that are there are receiving, and they'll be so excited to deal with it that they need to go home. So it might not be something for the masses.
Like
it could be some
MTX.
I don't know. A t-shirt that only opens when you get home. I don't know.
Glows in the sun of your country or something.
But that's the thing. Like, it could be something that's specific for the people that are there. It could have nothing to do with the global fans. It could be those. But I still don't. PoE fans can't grasp it. So I don't think it's stupid. I haven't seen one fan. Now, obviously, I haven't read everything, but I haven't seen one fan that's come up with an idea where I'm like, I would come home for that.
That's the reason that I say it's stupid, is because it's not affecting. It's different. Like when we watch a League release, the Twitch live stream when they do a thing, or when something exciting comes, we're sitting at home, we're on our computers, we're checking it out, we're excited. Oh, it's going to come out tomorrow, blah, 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 whatever it is. There is such a massive difference when you have traveled to another country. That's the part where I'm struggling to get the idea of, no matter what it is, it's stupid, because you've suggested people leave a country that most people took a long time to get to and probably won't go very often to. And there's so many things to see. That's where I'm struggling. I'm taking myself out of the Path of Exile player head and just going like, what could you be doing that makes your suggestion? And then you keep going on with this suggestion to leave the country. Like, it's not like they could have come out and been like, hey, Chris got a little excited, a little bit ahead of himself. We are excited for 322. We've said it's coming out a few weeks afterwards. We'll see at ExileCon 2. But they doubled and tripled down. They're like, hey, get out. Like, literally leave tomorrow. So maybe something's happening in New Zealand. Maybe there's like a takeover, a hostile takeover.
That's right.
Yeah, there's got to be something else
coup.
That's right.
Like the old prime minister that they had, and then when she resigned for.
So maybe it's more a life or death thing.
That's right. You're our most diehard fans. You spent thousands to be here.
Don't want you to die.
Definitely want that to continue. So you get home.
Please leave right away.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I'm going to bring it up every week, I think, until we see it, because
you just made us lose all our viewers until ExileCon 2. We're just going to be repeating the same story.
I'm so curious.
Yeah, I'm not disheartened by it though, but it's just
I will be. I feel like
can't. Well,
I feel like that first episode after ExileCon 2, we're both gonna be like, really?
The impending doom.
The rest of it won't even
life.
matter. We'll be like, that's it, eh?
Yeah, they'll release all the details for 19 new
cool
ascendancies. Right. They'll show us all the wicked minion stuff that I've been dreaming of for forever. They'll show all that, and then it'll be like, hey, we want you to rush home for this comic book.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Wow.
We've sent something in the mail to your house. You should get back to it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a card with a sticker in it.
That's right. Anyway,
Did
you play this week?
Yeah, I
didn't. So you
loved it.
Tell me.
And a lot of it was theory crafting. And I did focus this downtime on Elden Ring so that it's actually done. Mm-hmm. I only have one boss to beat, and otherwise I did all the bosses, 165 bosses in my first playthrough. I wanted to make sure I did them before New Game Plus, but I missed one. I tried to play blindly. Mm-hmm. I did everything blindly in the game, which was nice.
The first time.
And this is Path of Exile related. Okay.
Okay.
But so I went through the whole game blindly, and the only time that I went on the wiki was to find out, because I had a boss list from a site, like these are all the bosses in this region. So when I finished an area and I was ready to go on to the next area, I'd go on and see which bosses I missed. I'm like, oh shoot, okay, I missed these 5 bosses. So then I'd go on the wiki and just check where those were, which dungeons I missed, or oh, there's a night boss that only spawns at night, and I just happened to never be night in that section. So then I go back and do those, and that's the only thing I use the wiki for. Unfortunately, there was one boss, and so I'm not talking invaders. Like, if the enemy had a health bar that was only floating above itself, it's a normal enemy. Even if it used to be a boss earlier in the game, now it's just normal enemy. That doesn't count. It has to have a legit boss bar. That was my requirement for doing every boss in the game. And one boss, just one, was gated behind an NPC quest line. Or maybe there's more, but I inadvertently did them all apathetically. Yeah, in Fia's quest line. And I got to that part. I was right there, but I chose the wrong dialogue option. Or I chose to kill her. I think she was asking to die or something, and so I killed her, but I wasn't supposed to. All I needed to do was not kill the NPC. Only NPC I killed the entire thing except for Patches. Always kill Patches. But I killed her. And then I rested at the site of grace and nothing happened. If I didn't kill her and I rested at the site of grace and got back up, then I'm fighting this massive dragon. And so, and it's okay to talk about it because this game came out a year and a half ago. But a year and a half ago, wow, I really gave it a break. Anyway, so I only have one boss left to beat. But the kids and I've been broadcasting them, but without my voice, so that because I enjoy making the little boss videos and the kids love watching them later. And so, you know, I'll have like 16 views of my YouTube video, but it's all my kids. All my kids. But it's fun. Like, I have all these different lists. And so there's 164, 165, whatever it is, different bosses. And it's a lot of fun. And so we started going through. And as I was finishing up the game, I think it was 13 Snakes on Twitch. And I were chatting while I was playing with Chris, Aaron, and Ian. And Snakes was asking what my favorite boss was in the game, and I'm like, you know what, there's a few bosses that I don't like the bosses that fly around all the time and all you're doing is chasing. It's like 10% fighting, 90% chasing. But like I really like the ones where you can get really close and fight. So anyway, we were talking about what our favorite bosses were, and then it clicked. My favorite bosses, and luckily there's a whole bunch of them. Do you remember the bell-bearing hunters? You had to make it night, and then you had to travel to their bonfire or site of grace, and then you had to walk into their location, whether it was a shack or a church. Right. I loved those fights. They were like a very humanoid fights. They had like epic, strong fights, but they were well telegraphed, but telegraphed to the point where like perfectly timed, because I was still really nervous in all of them, because you would get, I screwed up a lot with those fights and died lots. But when you got the timing right, oh my goodness, it just felt so good. And it was one of those fights where the closer you are to the fight, the better. And I like that a lot, as opposed to standing on the outskirts. So anyway, so then I started thinking about the, what's his name? Elimer bell-bearing hunter. That's like the final boss, or it's like the biggest of all those bell-bearing hunters. And I forget where it is in the game, but anyway, the Elimer, he's like loaded with, it's just a big version of a bell-bearing hunter. And he does this massive shield slam where he just takes his shield and puts it face down on the ground, but it's this massive, well, it feels epic. It's actually small in terms of the AoE and size of the game compared to like a dragon's fire breath or anything, but it slams it down, just feels so epic, and you roll just at the perfect time to get in there and you start hacking away. Anyway, love the fight. Love that skill of his shield slam. And I'm like, oh, I'm done with this. Like, so I've always loved shield skills. Always loved shield skills. And so I'm like, I got to find something in Path of Exile that can replicate that. But there's so few, right? There's the shield throwing one, whatever that's called, projectile shields, or I forget what it's called. I never use it because I'm not big on the projectile stuff in the game. And then there's shield charge, but that's more of a movement thing. And then there was shield crush, I think it is, right? And that one's yeah, it is, and it can overlap, and it's based on defensive stats, which is great. The local stats, not the global stats, but it's nice, and I like it. But I don't know, when you get that little in your head, and it's like, but I want to slam, guys, I want a shield slam. I couldn't really find something I liked. So then I started looking around. So anyway, to backtrack slightly, because I missed this point at the beginning, I was playing around with my, remember what I was talking about?
Okay.
Just shield slam, just
No
shield
problem.
slam.
Mhm.
Okay, good. So I'm running around and I'm playing with my zombie build, and I tried out my normal zombie build where there's lots of investment in, and I tried my other zombie build where I have no investment in, all the investments in, only investment in Dominion offense, not into survivability. And I'm playing a much more defensive version of my zombies, but it's a little bit more stressful because I'm trying to keep my zombies alive. I'm not worried about their, I'm worried about their survivability. And so it's always on my head. And I'm using SRS to keep them alive and have them die so that have my SRS die so my zombies can live. And just go. And it's often where there's a rare combination or an abyss or whatever it is, or it's actually been quite bad for killing my zombies recently is Harbingers. Once you get to that last stage of Harbingers, there's a whole bunch of rares that just spawn out of nowhere. And so maybe you're fighting 3 or 4 of them. You don't know which one is doing all that weird damage that's supposedly annihilating your zombies. And so I go from 8 to 2 quite often, even though I'm like pumping out phantasms and SRS. So anyway, it kind of got frustrating. I'm like, this isn't the way I like to play zombies. I know I'm trying to achieve a defensive character while I'm playing zombies with mediocre gear for the sake of that midway progress. I know that once you have good gear, you can get zombies to live no problem while you and without the investment of survivability. But it's that midway point that I also want to be fun, and that's where I always play that midway point. I don't ever have that epic gear. And I'm like, this isn't the way that I like to play. Like, I don't mind SRS and I love zombies, but I don't want to have to use SRS just to keep them alive. And if I'm running from something and my SRS aren't out, then my zombies are like, it just goes against, it's counterintuitive to the more stress-free play style that I like. And so I'm like, I've really tried this build. It's really not working out. I mean, it works well, but it's not my style. It's not the way that I want to play. And so I started getting back into the Reaper build, like that one minion build, where I don't have to pay attention to it. I'm using that active skill for myself as well, like it's my own, and it's automatically going to resummon. Slower battles, but man, is it a lot more comfortable. But then I started going on a little bit more about that. I'm like, okay, well, you know what? Golems auto respawn. Without specific gear, golems are relatively weak, but I'd still have a lot of fun with the auto respawning golems. But what about my slammy skill, right? My shield slammy skill from Elimer in Elden Ring. Like, I really want that. And so I was looking at the shield skills, as I said, and I couldn't really find anything there. And Google auto-corrected this because my next thing underneath says scary. But no, it's not scary. Wasn't what I wanted. I don't know. Google changed it on me. I don't know. Oh, maybe it was scary. Like, maybe like my idea of my build is like walking into this group and it's like I only have one minion next to me. Like, think about, like, remember when you're playing Fallout 3 and you had Dogmeat with you? That was the best. That was the best. Just having that one extra companion with you that was helping out and doing stuff. That's what I was kind of like going for this week when I was theory crafting. So I had my idea of being Elimer with my shield slam and then having my one Reaper next to me, or maybe a few golems because they're easy to auto respawn. And I'm like, all right, well, I definitely need spiritual aid. I always think about spiritual aid. I never use spiritual aid. I rarely use spiritual aid, not seriously in any build, except for my righteous fire build, which isn't even using golems or minions. So that's like cheating with spiritual aid. So anyway, so then I know, and it's worth it. It's a smart thing to do, but I actually want to use minions with spiritual aid as well, which sounds kind of a funny thing to complain about. Right? I actually want to use minions with that minion notable. So then, I started going around and I'm like, okay, well, I could go Guardian, I could go Pathfinder, I could go Elementalist. I really don't want to do any attack-based skills because I just hate having to add accuracy at that extra amount because I'm already going minion damage. I'm already going my survivability. I'm already going off. And yeah, but it's off the path. It's off the path. I use up about 5 or 6 extra nodes trying to get to it. And I could sacrifice some life for it, but I don't want to sacrifice any armor for it. I just, to me, with the extra stuff that I'm investing in, I'd rather invest in aura stuff and reservation efficiency. I think I get a lot more value from my build that way. So that in that regards, I was focusing more on spells. And so I came back to Incinerate and Flame Blast. which I love. But then this week I was also kind of like, hey, my standing
It's not
around
very shield slammy.
No, it's not, but
two.
it's the next best thing. Like, I want something to shield slam me, but there is no shield slam me. So what's the next best thing? Well, if I'm walking into a big fight and I have my compadre Reaper with me or golems, all of a sudden I'm like, and then I look around like I'm like channeling, right? And I'm looking, but then I look to my right or my left in the battlefield and I see the Reaper there doing my fighting and I get the stupid grin on my face like, yeah, we racked. Like, I'd feel cool with Incinerate. Flame Blast would be cool too, because it'd be like, see, I want something where I'm like punching the ground.
Yeah, Earthquake.
And then,
but that's an attack based, I know.
So, but, I don't know. Do I want to get rid of Vitality and put in Precision instead? Maybe. I'd still probably only be at 87% accuracy, but who knows?
I mean, it doesn't have to do the damage. It could just look cool.
Right? Well, that's with my trigger heavy build. I have General's Cry with Earth Shatter. And in the notes for people to use, because people still really like the trigger skills, the counterattacks. So I still publish that one for people, but in the notes it says Earth Shatter's not the best skill for this. Please replay. It is. It's 100% for the sound. It goes, and then the next time you use a war card,
yeah, totally.
Oh, it sounds so cool. But yeah, no, Earthquake would be way better for that build. But yeah, I want to like punch the ground and then something happens, like an earthquake.
too. It's in there.
Can't wait. So, but I'm trying to think of the next best thing. Okay, well, maybe Flame Blast. If it always originated around me, that'd be awesome, right? And maybe on the controller support there is an alternate. I haven't even looked at it yet, but maybe there's an alternate method of casting it.
I don't think it sounds as good though.
No,
Flame Blast. Yeah,
no, it doesn't.
Oh, les sneezes. Oh my god. Are you dying?
I am. That's hereditary business, buddy. We always sneeze
amazing.
lots.
That was like 5.
4, but yeah.
Oh,
and 4 is not many. Lord. Justin edited that out, but my family, we're heavy
Tyler's
sneezers, and it hurts my neck and my head. We're a heavy sneezing family, and we sneeze quite a lot in consecutive order until our body's like, okay, that's done.
We cut it out.
Yeah. So, but anyway, then I started thinking about Blade Vortex. And Blade Vortex, it's not like a slammy skill, but it's like the more accurate, appropriate AoE and walking into things and all that kind of stuff. So, but then that requires 155 dex.
Clicking and but it's also a lot of casting. Like, it's not like you hit it once and you've got a full set of Blade Vortex. It's like,
it is an annoying. It's one of my favorite skills as an idea. It's one of the most annoying skills for me to actually play with, and so it sounds counterintuitive, but the way that I would always want to play Blade Vortex is Cyclone cast while channeling Blade Vortex, but then you lose the damage, so then you want Cyclone to be strong as well, and then you want Resolute Technique again, and then you're trying to invest into pure physical damage as opposed to just attack, and unless you, of course, you're doing like converted damage. But
I wish Blade Vortex, when you clicked it, it gave you the full set and then just slowly degen down. So the more you click it, you'll keep it at full, but you could at least click it once and run, and then it would just slowly degen how many row versus.
And maybe you could invest in the cooldown of it for every time you could click on it or something.
Yeah, or like skill duration, because then you could click it less and it would still be up.
Yeah, I like that idea better. Fix it, GGG. There you go.
Really?
Patch. But so yeah, it was fun to go through, but I did do a bunch of playing this week with both the zombie builds that I've been playing with, and then back to the Reaper build, which is in this case Golems and Reaper, right? The Elementalist. Then I did some more testing around again with the Guardian and the Reaper to see how the Reaper works with Summon Phantasms, right? How, like, without the survivability investment, how often does one minion with the Reaper, despite the fact that it has a big AoE, how often does it actually summon all Phantasms, right? Because when you're on paper, you just assume you have all the Phantasms, all 10, all the time.
Sure.
But in a boss fight, definitely not with the Reaper. It's very hit or miss. Like, sometimes you'll go through 5 seconds and you don't have any, and then all of a sudden it's go right. And the Reaper's strongest skill is the manual cast that the user does for the bleed attack. But that's one hit. You don't hit that, and you only have a 20% chance to summon a Phantasm. So I was playing around with the logistics of the Reaper again, and then I started playing with the idea of, okay, well, if I'm actually thinking about Incinerate or Flame Blast, how can I like 5-link that, like co-5-link that with the Reaper, like have Flame Blast and the Reaper, in the same set of links so that I can have all the other links that I really want. And I'm like, that's really tough unless I'm converting the Reaper to fire damage, but then that gets rid of the bleed. And do I really want to do that? And then all of a sudden I'm like, why don't I just be an elementalist and do golems? And it doesn't matter. But then I'm like, but the Reaper. So I had a good week.
Did you play much?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I did. I think I put in about, well, honestly, maybe about 6 hours. I was hoping for more, but
pretty good.
Falling asleep while playing. Yeah. It's been very tiring the last few weeks. Yeah, I'm just playing on standard on console right now. Though I did log in a few times on PC to say hi to people because I was reorganizing the guild hideout because I bought the dragon stashes for the guild hideout. Cool. Man, they're so glitchy. They're so neat, but they're so glitchy. It's frustrating. Well, because when you click, if you come at them from certain angles, the overflowing treasure cuts you off from actually getting to the stash. And so it'll actually just stop you. And so then, because sometimes a lot of people, like when I'm on PC or when people are on PC, a lot of the times people like to have their selling NPC in that gap between menus when you're in the stash. So you click on the stash, your stash menu comes up, right, into both menus. And then there's that gap in between menus where there's gameplay in the middle. And people like to have that user right in between. And it's just, it's clunky because the user doesn't fit properly right there, or the NPC doesn't fit properly in some of these places. And then in controller support, the stash isn't the priority for what's automatically selected before you hit A, like where the A button shows up to select, it defaults to the NPC instead of your stash, right? Which I actually really don't like. The whole reason I'm close to my stash is for my stash. So I wish it was stash first and then NPC, but it highlights NPC first. So I try and move it out of the way. So anyway, it's clunky, but it's still my favorite stash. And I'm very glad that it finally went on sale last week because I got it. So, but yeah, I'm playing on console now.
Is the determination for its size?
No, I didn't. Because on standard, I was surprised actually that, because I don't have a lot in standard. I have maybe 800 chaos, but I only have maybe 24 exalts and 13 divines. Like, it's not a lot. But
it
then
would
when
suck
I
if it required more than that, though. You know what I mean?
Well, true. And I am glad that I do have, it looks like I have the dragon that's hovering above, or not hovering, but crawling above the stash. I do like that. That I have it, despite the fact that I'm not a consistent player, or I
good.
Can't play a lot. I do like that. Yep. And I was surprised, and it was a nice surprise. But one thing that's actually really, really annoying when moving around the dragon stash is when you have the dragon unlocked, right? So, and you can't choose you know what? I actually never tried to see if I can change the scale of it, like if I can reduce it on my own. But the dragon actually counts as like an NPC or an obstacle in a way. It's not just part of like the image of the MTX. So when I go to move the stash, I can move the stash and drag it back, but the dragon doesn't move. The dragon stays still. And so then my cursor gets in the way of the dragon. Like I'm having to drag it, and then I can't go past the dragon. So I have to move it a centimeter and then click, and then the dragon moves. And then I move it a little bit more, and then the dragon moves. So the dragon has collision detection while I'm moving the stash. And with controller support, I can't just click anywhere I want stash to go. I have to drag it to a certain location. So it is unfortunately quite clunky, but I'm still very happy with it. But anyway, yeah,
it looks cool.
That was why I signed on to PC a couple times, but I am primarily on console now in standard. So Thank you for the offers for the specters, for the league specific specters. Hopefully they go core if they are that good.
Sweet. Well, I'm glad you got to play.
Yeah. Spiritual aid. I'm going to make it work, man. I'm going to find a build that just tickles my fancy long term. I need to.
Well, you've kind of done that. I mean, zombies is always.
I forced zombies, though. But yes, I agree.
All right, sweet. Well, let's wrap this up. Episode 195, Forever Exiled. I'm Justin, aka Tags.
And I'm Tyler, Wrecker of Days.
Patrons, we'll catch you in After Dark. Everybody else, will see you next week in 196. If you're looking for more information, you'll find it down below. Website, foreverexiled.com. Twitter, foreverexiled82. Very fun Discord. Get in there, say hi, be awesome. And Patrons, other ways to support the podcast, you'll find them down below and on our website. Bye.
Goodbye.